Hello there, Mr. Sutton here, bringing you the IM3 Chapter 8 Quiz 1 Extra Practice Solutions on Statistics. To find mean of this data set, we have to find median and mode as well, but we got to start somewhere. We're going to add up all of these and then divide by the number of items. So let's add all these together on the calculator. So adding those together, we end up with 74. And then we're going to divide that by the number of items, which is, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do that on the calculator. So dividing 74 by 9 gives us, we'll round to the nearest hundredth, so 8.22. Now for the median, we have to put these in order and then pick the middle value. So just sorting them now, we've got 1's the smallest number. After that we have a 2. And the next smallest one after that is a 6. We've got a 7 and actually another 7 over here. So now we also have a 9. And it looks like a 10 comes after that. And what else is left over? We've got a 13 and a 19. So now we're going to go ahead and cross off pairs of numbers at each end of this ordered list until we get to the center. So we have the 1 and the 19 getting crossed off simultaneously, and then the 2 and the 13, and then 6 and 10, and then 7 and 9. And since we only have one number in the middle, that is the median. The median is 7. If there were two numbers, then we would just add them together and divide by 2. So now for the mode, that's the number that gets repeated the most. Only one of these numbers actually got repeated, and that was 7. So 7 then is the mode. To find the mean for this dot plot, we're going to divide the sum of all the data by the number of data items. Let's start by asking how many items there are. That's just the number of dots. Each dot represents an item. So we have that one loner over there. And then all of these here, that's going to be, there's 16 over here. So 1 and 16 gives us 17 that we're going to divide by to find the mean. And now let's see what we're actually adding together here. So this 0 is just 0. And then to that, we're going to add 2 of these 4s. So 2 times 4 for short. And then we've got, let's see here, 6 of these 5s. So 6 times 5. And then we have 6 of these 6s. So plus 6 times 6. And then we have 2 of these 7s. So 2 times 7. All right, I'm going to run those numbers in my calculator now. So I'm just plugging the numerator in here. I just want to see what it is before I do that final division. So all of those data items add up to 88. So we have 88 divided by 77. And now let's see what the average sales tax or the mean sales tax in the states are. So let's divide that by 17 to get 5.18%. Well, that sounds plausible. All right, so now for the median, we have to basically pick the middle item when all of these are put in order. Now, since this is a dot plot, these are actually all in order. So we just have to cross off numbers on either end until we get to the middle number. So we've got the 0 and one of these 7s. And then we have one of these 4s and the other 7. Another 4 getting crossed off, and now we'll deal with the 6s. We have a 5 on this end and another 6 over here. Another 5 and another 6, another 5 and another 6, another 5 and another 6, and this 5 here and this last 6. So all that's left is this middle dot up here, which is a 5. So that's our median. And then for the mode, that's the item that appears the most. So just look at the dots and see who has the most dots. Now here it looks like 5 and 6 are actually tied for the most. They both have 6 dots. So 5 and 6, both of them are the mode. For this one, I'm trying to find the mean and a few other things for this stem and leaf plot. So for mean, I need to know 2 things. First off, what does all the data add up to? And second, how many items do I have? And then I have to divide those. The easier question is going to be the how many do I have? So I can find that by just seeing how many leaves I have here on the right side of this table. So adding them up, we've got, let's see here, 5 plus 4 is 9, plus another 4 is 13, and then we have 14 and a 15. So we're going to divide something by 15. Up top, we're going to put all the data being added together. So you have to be able to read the stem and leaf plot to write all the numbers out here. And you have to be careful because on this particular one, all of the numbers that you think you have are getting multiplied by 100. So this 24 right here with a 3, that would normally mean 243. You just basically join the numbers together to form a single number, except that all of that has to get multiplied by 100. So in order to write out all these numbers without having to write out all those extra zeros, I'm actually going to write 100 and then a parentheses with all of the numbers before they get multiplied by 100 inside. So the first number I'm going to write out is this 23 stem here. We have a 23 for the stem, a 6 for the leaf. That's 236. And now keep in mind that this is really 23,600, but I'm basically factoring 100 out of all of these things so I don't have to keep writing those two zeros. So my next number then, 23.8, so 238. And then we have 3 of these 239s. So I'm just going to write 3 times 239 rather. And then we have a 24 and a 3, so 243 plus 245. 2 times 246. No point in writing that twice. Then we have 253, 2 of these 256s, and a 258. We have a 260 right here. And be careful, there's nothing here. There's no leaves on this 27 stem. So that actually doesn't have anything. It's just there so that we don't have a gap in between 26 and 28, because I guess that would look weird. This is kind of like a number line. So then moving on to 28, we have a 283, and that's our last number. All right, so I'm going to add all that up on the calculator now. So here we go, adding up everything in the numerator. This is the tail end of this monstrosity here. Pressing enter, that comes out to 373,700. And we're dividing all of that now by 15, which I'll go back to the calculator to do. So dividing by 15, rounding to the nearest hundredth, we have 24,913.33. So that's apparently the mean mountain height based off the mountains we surveyed here. So now let's find the median. That's the middle item when everything's put in order and we pick the middle. So everything already is in order, actually. The stems are all in order. The leaves are all in order. So we're just going to cross off things to the far left and the far right. And then whatever the middle item is, that's our median. So we have 236 and 283. Then we have 238 and 260 getting crossed off. One of these 239s and the 258. 239, 256. The other 239 and the other 256. Next we have the 243 and the 253 going away. And finally 245 and 246. So that leaves us with this lone 246 here. So that's our median. And keep in mind this is really 24,600 because we have to multiply by 100 after we put the stem and the leaf together, just for this particular problem because the key said to do that. Finally, for the mode, we're going to pick the item that appears the most. So this 9 here appears 3 times, this 239. Nothing else appears at least 3 times, so that's the mode. But again, multiply by 100 for this one problem. So that's 23,900 for the mode. For this one, I'm trying to find the mean for this frequency table, which tells us the number of goals in a hockey game. So the frequency is telling us the number of hockey games, it looks like. And this left side here is telling us the number of goals per game. So now for the mean, we need to basically take the sum of all the data, which is to say all the goals scored in all the games, and divide it by the number of items. And the items in this case are individual games. So let's first figure out the number of games by adding up this frequency column here. So that would be 2 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2, and we'll actually add it together in just a moment. Now for the goals scored in all the games, we have to multiply the goals by the number of games. So we have 3 times 2, plus we had 5 goals in 5 games, so that's 5 times 5. And next we had 6 goals in 2 games, so 6 times 2. Then 7 times 4. And then plus 8 times 2. And I'll do all of that on the calculator before I divide it. So for my numerator, all of that adds up to 87 goals. And now how many games were played? So we had 87 goals over, let's see here, we have 2 plus 5 is 7, plus another 2 is 9, plus 4 is 13, plus 2 is 15. So 15 games. Let me go ahead and divide that on my calculator. 87 divided by 15, and that is exactly 5.8. So our mean is 5.8 goals per game. Let's go ahead now and find the median value. So the median is going to be the middle value if I were to take all these individual data items and just put them in order. So if I were to write out this list, I would have 3, 3, 5, 5 of these 5s basically, followed by the 6s, the 7s, and the 8s. So just to kind of shortcut this process, I'm going to find the number, the index number of the middle value. So I'm going to do that by taking this 15, the number of games, and adding 1 to that and dividing by 2. That's going to tell me the item number of the median. So that's going to be number 16 over 2, so number 8. So however many goals were scored in game number 8, that's going to be the median value. Okay, so we need to figure out where game number 8 falls if these are put in order. So just going through my frequency here, after those first 2 games, I've got, well, 2 games, right? After the next 5 games, well, now I'm up to game number 7. And after these next 2 games, well, that takes me through 9 games. So game number 8 has to fall somewhere in here, in this 6-goal stretch of games. So that means that the median is going to be 6, the number of goals scored in that particular set of games. And now for the mode, that's the number that appears the most. Looking in my frequency column here, the highest frequency is this 5 right here, and that goes with 5 goals in a game. So the mode in this one is going to be 5. And that's 5 because of the 5 goals, not directly because of the 5 over here. We're talking about this 5 on the left. If this on the right were a 7 or an 8 or a 100, we still would have written 5 for the mode. On this one, we're trying to make a box and whisker plot out of this list of numbers. So we need to find the median and then the lower and the upper median as well, which means we need to put all of these in order. So just taking a look through this list, it looks like, let's see here, 42 seems to be my lowest number. And after that, we have a 43 and a 44. We have a 40. Do we have a 45? Nope, we've got a 46. No 47. We have a 48. There's no 49. 48 was the last 40s, so we go to the 50 now, right there. And then we've got a 51. Anything else in the 50s? Yep, we have a 52, a 53, and I think that's it. So it helps if you cross these off as you write them down here, but I didn't. But hey, it worked out. So now I'm going to go ahead and find the median. If there's 9 numbers, the median is going to be this middle number, item number 5. So that's going to be 48 for the median. And then that splits our data into 2 halves, a lower half with 4 items, and an upper half also with 4 items. So now on the lower half, we have to find the median for just that half the data. So that's going to be relying on these middle 2 numbers, 43 and 44. And since there's 2 numbers, to get the median, we have to take the mean of the 2 numbers. So that's actually 43.5. And we'll do the same thing over here on the right. We have these 2 middle numbers, 51 and 52. Halfway between those, we have 51.5. So to get my my box and whisker plot, let me first make a number line that makes it easy to record all of the special spots on here. So I think I'm going to make one going from, say, 42 to 53 going by ones. I ought to be able to get everything, including these weird 0.5 numbers. So now let me do my median first at 48. I'll just draw a little vertical line there. And now my box is going to go from the lower to the upper median. So from 43.5, which is right here, all the way over here to 51.5. And now for my whiskers, we're going to go from the minimum at 42, which is over here, to the maximum at 53, which is all the way over here, which happens to take up my whole number line. So there's my box and whisker plot. For this problem, we have a box and whisker plot, and I'm trying to figure out the median, min, and max and interquartile range for this thing. Let's start with the median. So that's this vertical line in the middle of the box. And just looking at the scale here, these grid lines are going by 2s, so halfway between must be a 1. So this is really 53 for my median, as best I can estimate. For the min, that's the lowest value, represented by this leftmost whisker. So again, using the scale, this looks like half a grid line that I had to go before 40. So that would be 39. For the max, that's the rightmost whisker here, which is easily readable at 68. And then for the interquartile range, that's the distance covered by these boxes in the middle 50% of the data. So that's going to be the upper median minus the lower median. So this looks like, let's see here, this was 58, this middle one, so this must be 59. And we are subtracting 47, giving us an IQR of 12.